My name's Skylar. I'm from Delaware originally. I got my start in skimboarding working for Alley and Jason Wilson. I originally moved out here to work in the film industry in Los Angeles. When I moved out here and realized that Laguna was like an hour away from LA, all I could think about was going to Laguna. And then I basically got an opportunity to move down to Laguna, and I took it and never looked back. I never thought I was going to be like a skimboard filmer, because that's not exactly the most lucrative career choice. I competed for like 10 years. Skimboarding is something I really love. And the last thing I want is to take something that I love and be judged for it. I have to have a project that I'm working on that I'm excited about, like Easy Slider. When I first moved to Laguna, I had a pretty bad injury. I was putting out like 4 or 5 mini edits a week. Looking back, psychotic. Because I did that, for the amount of time that I did do that, it got me this huge following of skimboarders. It kind of occurred to me one day, I was like, I'm sitting on hard drives worth of like incredible footage that nobody's ever seen.
Hi everyone, this is Trey Lee with the Skim Steezy podcast, and today we have a very special guest. We have someone who has impacted the skimboarding community in ways, that I think that go beyond like the normal, what you would think of like skimboarding person, which is like, one of the pros, maybe like a rider that you like, or someone like that. But this is someone who's been working behind the scenes. And I remember speaking with Adrian Raza back at in Spain last year, and we had a conversation about this. And skimboarding, just like any other sport, relies on multiple aspects, right? You have your athletes, right, who play the game and are actually like the core of the sport and in the competition. But then you also have your local guys on the beach. You have your pros and your stars, like your Blairs and your Austin Keens and people like that. But then you also have people in the media too. And really sometimes these days it's people looking forward to the skim part just as much as, the outcome of the events. And I think it's just been really great just being able to talk to Skylar Wilson, who's our guest. And not only that, but just like learning and just really trying to be a sponge and soak it all in. And actually coming up with questions for this was a little difficult for me because, just for the members of the audience, like I've actually been meeting with Skylar, and she's been helping me to just have some sort of like creative like feedback and someone who I can kind of, look to as like a guide. So it's been super helpful for me just to have someone there when, I'm not able to necessarily come to the conclusion, immediately and as fast as someone who's more seasoned, has been in the game for, 10 plus years. Like we can get into it for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to, start by saying, thanks for helping me, just guiding me along the way. And without further ado, Skylar Wilson, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out whether we want to do like sound effects and applauses or not, but I'm sure there would be like a big
good intro.
applause. Yeah.
Amazing.
So how you doing today?
Good. Yeah. Good. It's been a pretty mellow day.
Pretty mellow day.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming from Dana Point and.
Coming from Dana Point,
Yeah.
I didn't do any work today, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is my work today.
Nice, yeah. I love it when work is just having a conversation, and hopefully we can have more of these. So, yeah, thanks for coming by. From Dana Point to San Diego, where the studio is, and I just want to start by some background questions. So some of these are going to be a little bit repeated, but just between us, because I know you and I have been talking, but just for maybe folks who don't know you. Which, I'd be surprised at this point just from, what you've been doing. You put some stuff out there as well. No. So maybe start by saying who you are, where you're from, and what your goal is.
Skylar Wilson. I'm from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware originally. Should I look at the camera? Should I look at you?
You can like look at me like, yeah. I should prep you a little bit more. Just kind of like cheat forward a little bit like this. Yeah. Cool. But you can look at me.
My name's Skylar. I'm from Delaware originally. I've lived in California for about 10 years now. I originally moved out here to work in the film industry in Los Angeles. I went to a film school in Boston. But LA's cool. I'm not sure if it was a good fit for me. I've been skimboarding since I was like 13. So when I moved out here and realized that Laguna was like an hour away from LA, I just like, all I could think about was going to Laguna because I grew up watching Bearded, Stimulus, So Light Chronicles, all those. So I'd like grown up watching all these videos and seeing all these iconic spots and like all the skimboarders, Paolo, Grady, Morgan, like, all the guys from those old movies. So, sorry, my brain. So yeah, and then I basically got an opportunity to move down to Laguna, and I took it and never looked back. Looked back a couple times, but...
yeah, it's always good to peek around and just to see, is anybody behind me? Yeah. But, I definitely resonate with that. Just like seeing, all of these like crazy films and, watching those and then also like seeing all of these like stars and all these spots and then wanting to come here. And that's one of the reasons why I moved to the West Coast as well, from Virginia originally I'm from. And you mentioned some of those movies, and so I definitely wanted to touch on those a little bit. So you mentioned some really well-known ones like Stimulus and like Bearded and stuff like that, and some of the parts with like Prieto and everything like that. So I won't necessarily ask you for like what's the best of them, but I guess I can. The question is, what aspects of those skimboarding films maybe drew you towards more of the media side of skimboarding rather than like the competitive aspect of it? And I know that competitive aspect is kind of it's multiple factors because you got you had like an injury as well, but maybe if there was like an impact from those films that led you one way or the other, like, can you talk about that?
I never really, I liked watching those videos growing up, and I always like had a camera in my hand, but they were kind of separate from one another. I just happened to love skimboarding, and so I obviously gravitated towards watching skimboarding movies. But I never thought I was going to be like a skimboard filmer, because that's not exactly the most lucrative career choice. But I definitely, like, growing up watching those, there were certain things that definitely I took away from in terms of, like, the editing style. And So Light Chronicles, I think Scott Stonette's, like, the best. He's my favorite. That's my favorite movie. Also, like, the music choices definitely informed a lot of, like, my music taste growing up. Like, the songs that they chose and the parts were the songs that I ended up listening to and the music I ended up gravitating towards. I forgot what the second part of the question was. Oh, yeah, and competitiveness. Mm-hmm. The competitive angle, like, I competed for, like, 10 years. I never really loved it.
Okay.
It just never, I don't know. Skimboarding is something I really love, and the last thing I want is to take something that I love and be judged for it. And, like, it never really felt great to me. Like, you have 10 minutes to skim in these waves, and, like, I don't know. I just want to go skimboarding. I just, like, it takes something I really, really like and makes me not like it very much.
Right.
So as soon as I stopped competing and just started hanging out on the sidelines, like, I had no skin in the game. I had nothing to lose, and I started having a lot more fun. And so, like, people always tell me to compete. I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't like it. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that too. And because for me, skimboarding is one of the purest like outlets I have in my life, and it's really, for me, I like to describe it to people as like kind of like a meditation, because if you're not paying attention to like where the wave's at, like the timing, like your balance, like your weight distribution, like all these different factors, like at such a rapid speed to just like react to the waves, then you're just gonna like fail. You're just gonna just like wipe out. And so it's like a form of meditation. And so when you're in a competition and you're being like judged for that thing, it's like someone is like watching you meditate or something too. It's like, I'm just zenning out, right? I'm just like, having a good time. So like for me, it's a little different. Like I want to get more back into it once I have a little bit more bags of or tricks in my bag, and get back into it. But it's interesting to know how you sort of navigate between like the film path and just the competitive side of things, just from what made you feel good, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess the other part of competitive skimboarding is like I never really took skimboarding that seriously. Like I'm like a recreational skimboarder by nature. I'm not out trying to like land everything.
Right.
Like, I just want to go have fun.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So, looking back in your personal like journey, I was looking at your profile on LinkedIn, and right now you're media and marketing at CatSurf. So that's your prime. I mean, at least that's what your tagline is. Like
I might need to update that.
Yeah. So why don't you give us like what's the updated like tagline for your LinkedIn?
I do freelance work for CatSurf. I worked for CatSurf for 2 years full time in the office, which was great. It gave me a lot of opportunities to learn a lot of cool stuff and get a feel for that office environment. All the guys over there are awesome, huge fan, and I love what they do in terms of like their marketing and the brand and the things that they sell. Like I'm on board for all of it. I love softboard surfing. Take something that's like really serious like surfing and just makes it fun, which is obviously my speed. But office life, not quite for me. So after 2 years, I basically went to him and asked if I could do the same general job, just not in the office, and be a contractor for them instead of full time. And also, in the meantime, talked to Blair about maybe working with him about doing some of his vlog stuff and just helping out any way I could with him. And so between them and a couple other companies that I work for, I kind of juggle a bunch of different freelance jobs now.
Right. I see. So, and freelance just sort of gives you the freedom to sort of just be out on the beach and kind of just get out of the office a little bit more. So yeah, that's good. So you would like kind of describe yourself as like kind of a independent kind of contractor, but who has more gigs with like CatSurf, for example, than other things, or it's like split into like if you have like a pie chart of like the work that you do, like what is the biggest slice would probably be CatSurf, you would say, or would it be Skim Kids, or
these days it would be Blair. Working
okay.
with Blair is probably my biggest hustle. And then I do work for a sunglasses company, IC.
Right.
They're great.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah,
love them.
Yeah.
Shout out IC.
Yeah.
And then CatSurf, I do some work for Reef every once in a while, and just other odd jobs, pretty much whatever comes my way.
I see. So a lot of the projects that you mentioned too are like from other people, like you're getting contracted to work on something else, but I know you've listed some projects here and this may be out of a date. So we've established that, but so let me just not look at this. But we all know that, and I hope the audience knows that you've had your own sort of projects that are your babies. You would say like Easy Slider is probably the biggest one that comes to mind. Maybe before we get into that though, like maybe take us back to maybe the beginning, or one of your initial projects that you're working on that you completely sort of owned, or you would say you had the biggest creative stake in it, and tell us a little bit about it.
In skimboarding or outside of skimboarding?
I would say in general the most impactful one that comes to your mind right now during your like development years. I guess where you're still developing, but
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's definitely an evolution. I don't know. I mean, I've been filming little things since I was really little. Like my dad always fostered my creative side. He always stuck a camera in my hands. I found out later on that he always wanted to work in the film industry and didn't have the chance to. And so when I was really little, he like fostered that and basically like conned me into being a camera person. Like worked out because I really like it, but
it's a connotation
to it.
It
was a setup for sure.
Vicariously living through you.
Yeah, for sure. He was so stoked when I went to film school and worked in LA. Yeah, I don't know. I worked on some really great projects in Los Angeles with some friends. Worked with some really great directors and made some stuff I'm pretty proud of. But skimboarding, I I guess I would say I got my start in skimboarding working for Alley-Oop and Jason Wilson. When I was like 15 or 16, I went to him and asked if I could shoot like the summer camp that he runs and make a video for the campers at the end of the week. And so I did that for like 3 years. And
oh, right. I think you told me about this one, yeah. It was brutal, right?
Yeah. But it's good because it taught me how to run interviews. It taught me how to get B-roll. He taught me keep the horizon line straight. Like little things that you don't notice, but it was a really good crash course in filming something and getting it out really by the end of the week.
Right.
So like it definitely helped me I guess create like a workflow and a system and how to get things done really, really quickly, which is helpful now.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. And that's something too that even I'm continuously refining and I don't know if you peeked over my shoulder, but you probably saw this massive like checklist and stuff. And I like having checklists for things and slowly refining those so I'm more efficient with something every day. And I definitely noticed that's something too during the season. It's so hard to keep up. And I don't think people understand like the work that goes into it, but it's like, we like as filmers, we have to sit on the beach and then, record and make sure we hit all the major points to get the B-roll and stuff, and then watch it. So it's like, you have to, you're reliving the event, which is fun. Like, it's fun for me, but like, it's a time sink. Yeah, for sure. Just getting the initial assembly. After that, I find like I can kind of coast once I figure out like the little effects that I want to use or something like that. But it's always good having a mentor and, just like meeting Jason for me at Dewey this year, just so cool, just connecting on Instagram and everything like that. And I know he's been doing some really cool things, supporting some of the international riders like Lucas McCoy and some of the other, Zap guys I know, and, amongst a myriad of things, like helping to grow the sport. So
yeah, Zap does a really, really good job with international riders and supporting like the underdogs, I feel like, which is really cool.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And yeah, something definitely I hope we can see more of for sure. Especially as, we're starting to see all of this talent just like come out, like just like with the Euro Skim Tour right now, like all of the different countries and from the Philippines to, South America as well. And it's just all really exciting. So but going back to your journey, so your dad was a major influence for you, and just kind of stepping into those shoes a little bit and looking at the future generation of folks who want to be, maybe in your position, I don't know, even my position right now, I don't know, but like just in general, like the skimboarding or filming of water sports more generally, what advice would you give them on their path if they want to pursue something like that?
I would say just try to learn as much as you can about as many things as you can so that you can be super well versed. You basically need to be like a creative Swiss Army knife, because I love skimboarding and I love filming, but like that can't be the only thing. It's got to be more than that. So I would say work on all different types of filming, editing. If you're burnt out on filming, pick up a camera and go take photos. Try to learn how to draw, get an iPad, get Procreate,
right. Wow,
learn how to make a GIF. Just like figure out other things you can do to be an asset. Like when I worked for Catch Surf, it was right during COVID and they had to let go a lot of their design team. And I had just gotten taken on, and they were like, hey, do you know how to design stuff? And I was like, no, I don't. And they're like, all right, well, learn. And I had to spend a year designing T-shirts, towels, umbrellas, all this stuff. And I was like, but you do it, and now I know how to do that. And when Easy Slider came along, I know how to make a tech pack. I can get a hat done. I know how to make a sticker. I've done it before. So it's like these little things, like it's kind of like the saying, like jump in the or leap and the net will appear. Like if somebody gives you an opportunity, you don't know how to do it, just figure it out. You can probably figure it out, and then by the end of the day, you'll have a new skill in your little toolkit.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And my grandpa always used to say the same thing. It's just like life is about, getting more tools in your tool bag. So it's so interesting. Would you say though, in learning those different skills, would you say you kind of did more of the leaping and hoping the net was there, or did you do any proactive steps of like, researching like, okay, here's what skills I need to use, even though my immediate project it's not necessary for that?
I think it's dependent on the situation. Like, there's been situations where I don't think I'm prepared for something. Like, I got, back in college, a friend of mine from home was putting together a movie that was shooting in Tennessee. And I had a really good friend in college, this guy Jackson Hunt, who's like, he would be my mentor, if anybody. I got to college, he was a senior, and I had met him at a film camp, and he took me under his wing and taught me everything I know about filmmaking. He's an incredible cinematographer. But I remember I got this job, and it was shooting on a red, and I was like so stressed out. I'd never shot anything before. And he was like, just go and do it. Like, you'll figure it out, and it'll be great. And to this day, it's one of my favorite things I've ever shot. And wow. I was like 19 years old.
Wow, like, incredible.
So just take the chance and trust yourself. And every time I have something like that happen, and I like don't think I've got it, I just think about him, and I know he would just tell me to do it, and just do it.
Wow, that's crazy. And like that would be so intimidating even for me, because like, just for everyone in the audience's awareness, like red is like, if you haven't heard of it, or just like the cream of the crop. I don't know. They're really, I don't know.
Not these days, this was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, they're still super expensive today.
Yeah.
You kind of don't.
It's a good cinema camera.
Yeah, it's really good. And just to be able to like sort of jump into that role and just adapting, you would say, is one of the major keys to success. Yeah. That's, cool. Yeah. So, you've talked to us a little bit about the past of some of the projects you were in, some of your mentors, and you've kind of have a unique place in the skimboarding world, I would say, for many reasons. But one of them is because you've just like been there. Like, you've kind of have, whether you're either working on the project directly or sitting on the sidelines, kind of witnessed the evolution of not only the sport of skimboarding, but in the media and the film and cinematography side of it as well. So. Maybe just looking at the industry, like evolution, like what would you say are some of the major movements, you would say, or major styles of editing, perhaps, that have evolved to like the present day? I think just example wise, I would just say, when we were talking about Easy Slider, you kind of wanted a lot of nonverbal communication, just because it harkened back to some of the styles of some of those. So that's an example, right? So like, what other sort of like themes have you seen evolve over time?
Yeah, well, it's so different now, because growing up, I grew up on like skate videos, snowboard videos, and skimboard videos. And back then, people would sit on clips for years and like wait until the video came out, and they wouldn't like, nobody would see that clip until like way down the line in the video. And now it's like you get a good clip and it's on Instagram before you get home.
Right, yeah.
Like, there's no saving anything. So that was one of the harder things with Easy Slider, was like sitting on a lot of footage for a long time. But I wanted to make something like what I had grown up on, because nobody's doing it anymore. Nobody has the attention span. I think that's something that's like,
unfortunately.
I know. It's like, it's kind of a bummer, because you go on Instagram and I could spend an hour working on like a little mini edit that I think is really, really cool and upload it, and it'll get like no attention whatsoever. Or I can upload a clip I filmed on my iPhone today and it'll go nuclear. And it's just like, the less work you do, the better it's going to perform.
It's so counterintuitive, and it's so like frustrating. And even that's something I noticed here. Like, I captured like the collision between here and Lucas last year in Spain at the finals, and that was just like no editing, like literally 7 seconds, and that got more engagement than sort of the highlight reel, like with all of the little edits and keyframes and all these things that I was adding in. And so it's so interesting, and I find that is a difficult sort of line to balance between appeasing the algorithm versus catering to your creative spirit, we can call it. And I think we talked about this a little bit as well, but maybe just for the audience and a little bit more depth, like, how do you navigate that line to still sort of feel like, yes, I'm a creator and I'm not just like a slave to whatever the algorithm is saying is good?
Stay off Instagram.
Right. All right, there you go. That's easy.
I don't know. Like I used to be part of the machine. But no, now like I don't. You shouldn't let likes dictate what you're doing, and you shouldn't let likes dictate how you're shooting things. I don't think it's worth. Like if I shot something horizontally and it looks nice horizontally, why would I crop it and make it worse and put it into this box when it was shot for this box? I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to play that game. Mm-hmm. More power to anybody that's down to do that and wants to do that. It's not for me. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'll get less likes for it. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. But I think where I am now, there's a good balance where I'm busy with work doing stuff for, like, Blair with these vlogs, which aren't, like, that's not, like, my best work. But they're good, and they're great, and people like them. People love to watch Blair do his thing, and the nice thing about making a raw video without any music or anything is the people that are watching it, they feel like they're there. Right. And I think that's really important for that genre of video. But for me, on the side, I have to have a project that I'm working on that I'm excited about, like Easy Slider. So it's like, yeah, I'll go and do this vlog, or yeah, I'll go and do this stuff for this company that I like. It's cool and like it's fun to do, but it's like not something I'm like, this is what I want to do. I have to have something that I get excited about at the end of the day that I'm working on the side. Otherwise, I'll get burnt out on the stuff that's like not quite as creatively satisfying. Right. And that's not to say that making vlogs and like making sunglasses edits and making stuff for Catch Surf, it's all cool, and it's nice too to have a variety in the type of work you do, because it does keep things fresh, because this company will want the branding one way, and so you have to shoot it one way and you'll have to edit it a certain way, and then this company will want something completely different, and so it definitely keeps you greased up creatively. You know, like, and it's cool and it's fun, and it keeps it interesting, and it's hard to get bored. But it's nice to have something that's yours. And nobody else can dictate what they want it to be, and that's just for you. Right. And it like gives you something to look forward to that you can like just polish away at. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. I love how you describe it, because it's almost like it rejuvenates you. It's, you know, because your normal day job may dictate that you know, kind of create in a different way, but as long as you have this little sort of marble that you're polishing, that it sort of keeps you alive, like keeps your energy going. Yeah. So
the last thing you want is to get burnt out.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do if you don't have something to look forward to. And you don't want to take this thing that you love and turn it into something that's like a drag.
Have you ever what time was the most did you feel the most burnt out? And maybe was it back when you were working for Alley-Oop? Or take us to that moment, because I'm interested in why you've persisted for so long and thrived, because a lot of people just quit, right? Like they just, maybe it's not for them, maybe they want to do something else, but it's kind of, and even talking with Devin, shout out, you know, Zap Skimboards Media, and you know how even he from his perspective, and I haven't looked at all the stats, but it's the market for like cinematographers, filmers, it's more saturated over here. So like from a longevity standpoint, like, you know, maybe take us to, you know, how you were able to overcome those moments of burnout and keeping it going.
I don't know. I definitely had a lot of burnout when I was working in Los Angeles. I'm not much of a networker. I don't want to like have to go up to somebody and tell them I'm good at something. Right. That's like torture.
Yeah, it's just like, look at the work, like it's here. Yeah.
But at the same time, there's something to be said for the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and you do gotta put yourself out there a little bit, and you do have to show your worth in some way.
Sure.
It's like it's a hard thing to navigate. It can be, but I would say, and this comes something my dad always told me, and something I've always kept in mind, and I think holds true, or it held true for me at least. In that most people work at something for a really long time, and right before they hit where the payoff is, they give up. And if they just hung on for a little bit longer, something will happen. And that kind of happened when I was living down here, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm not making enough money. I got to move back to LA and like work in the industry again. And so I moved back up to LA, and within a few months, Catch Surf called and was like, hey, do you want to come work for us? And I was like, guys, I just moved. But I ended up moving back, and it worked out great. I definitely got a bit of burnout at Catch Surf, just being stuck in an office. I find it challenging when somebody sees that you're doing good work, and they're like, we like what you do, come do it here with us, and then they stick you in a box and don't let you leave. And it's like, the reason I'm creative and the reason I'm making this good work is because I'm out in the world experiencing things. It's hard to get good ideas when you're sitting in a box all day.
Right.
And I think that works great for some people. It's not for me. I need to be out seeing things, experiencing things, talking to people, going to the beach. That's where I get all my ideas, not under a fluorescent light.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. They like bring you in because you're this light, and then they put it out and they wonder what happened.
Right. Exactly. It's like the thing that, or the person that you hired is now changed, and prevented from being that person, under those working conditions.
But they knew, and they were like, when I pitched the contractor idea, they were like, honestly, if you're in the same mood as when you get back from vacation all the time that you're working for us, we'll take it. Because I was like miserable, and I'd leave town for like 10 days and come back in a great mood.
Right. And then it's
like, if we could just have that, then that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and that's so interesting. And I love that phrase you use, like, grease the wheel, or you have to sometimes you kind of have to navigate that line and be your best advocate. And that's so true. I know that's taken me, so far in my life, and clearly it has in yours as well. So I definitely think that's important for people to know. It's like, you definitely, there's a point when your work speaks for itself, but at the same time, if you're not in a situation that you don't want to be in, you are your superhero. You are your own hero at the end of the day. And, of course, everyone has a support system. I don't believe in like true independence, because everyone's dependent on somebody to some extent. But at the same time, you definitely have to put your own foot forward and advocate for yourself. So, yeah, definitely thanks for taking us through that, that time that you, overcame with burnout and everything. So, in sort of like day to day, we see how, like, just in general, like, the media is like a big influence on like the culture, and a lot of people like blame the media of like how things are portrayed, and like how there's like a negative bias towards like what's presented, and maybe in the skimboarding realm, it's like going back to what you were saying about like what the algorithm wants, and like these raw takes and things like that. And so there is an audience for that, but what would you say are some of the pros and cons of, that kind of evolution of within the industry?
Like social media?
Yeah.
I think I think social media is great in some ways, and I think it's terrible in others. I think it's a good way to get a platform. Like, I owe Instagram a lot for giving me a platform, because when I first moved to Laguna the first time, I had a pretty bad injury, and so I couldn't do a whole lot but sit on the beach with my camera and go home and edit. And so I was just making mini edit after mini edit. I was putting out like 4 or 5 mini edits a week on Instagram. It was, like, looking back, psychotic. Don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
But because I did that, for the amount of time that I did do that, it got me this huge following of skimboarders. And because I was on the beach every day shooting all these people and making videos of them, I created a great network of people. I already knew a lot of them because I've been in skimboarding since I was like 13. So I've like known a lot of these people and have been seeing them in contests and just seeing them in general. But it definitely built that network out and gave me a little credibility, especially in terms of like letting my work speak for itself, because I'm not always the most outgoing person. I tend to be pretty shy, especially like if I don't know a lot of people, I'll clam up. But it was a good opportunity to get my work out there. Now I feel like, I don't know, Instagram's a tricky thing. I think it's a dangerous thing. I think it can make or break somebody's day, and the fact that like an Instagram post can like ruin somebody's day is like devastating, because it doesn't matter. I think the key is just like don't do it for Instagram, do it for yourself. And if that means getting less likes, like, who cares? But people care, and that's the problem. People care so much. Just let it go. It's okay. Do it for you.
Yeah. It's such a difficult balance, because it's like you're trying to grow, but I think it's really good. And goes back to something that I was talking to Johnny Salta about, and we were just talking about just like longevity within the industry. And sometimes you want the slow growth, maybe you're not getting as big of a crowd, immediately, but the crowd that you get over time is maybe more organic, more true, and
more valuable.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's the other thing is like, yeah, you can post that raw clip and get your thousands of likes and get tons of followers. Are they ever going to engage with you ever again? It's like, cool, now you have 60,000 followers and none of them like anything.
Right, yeah.
It's just a number, yeah. So much of it is so meaningless. And I got one of my best friends in Delaware, Elliot. He's like an incredible photographer. He's like my favorite photographer. And I grew up with him. He's been my best friend forever. He even said like, he basically started his photography career and was on the rise, and he was like, oh, when I hit 10K, everything will be different. He hit 10K and everything was the same. Oh, well, when I hit 50K, everything will be different. Hit 50K, everything's the same. Oh, when I hit 100K, everything will be different. Nothing's ever different.
Right.
It's all an illusion.
I know, and that is so I think critical what you just said right there. And I think that's something that I found in my life as well, is just chasing all of these goals, and part of my life I felt like I was living for other people. In fact, like the majority of my life, unfortunately, and like I think it's gotten me in a good place. Like now I have like a decent career, and like I've have all of these like things, but eventually you collect all these things and you're still where you are. So I really believe very much in like you have to be happy on your way to happy. Like you're not just gonna arrive and just be like, oh, like everything's changed. It's like you have to like relish in the process. You have to be just like living day to day in your best self, and it's like the trophies and stuff, the affirmation is good. I mean, you should relish in it to a certain extent.
But that's not the...
it's not the game changer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. Yeah. So I saw that there was a lot of projects like going in, and let me just make sure where we are in time. So, okay, yeah, let's just get right into it, right? Like let's talk about Easy Slider. And we're talking about online platforms, but the first time I saw it was at the Laguna Coastal Film Festival, and thanks so much for the ticket, the hookup, yeah. So and that was just like super cool to just like be around all of these different like creatives in one place to like exhibit their work. And so Easy Slider, like what was the genesis of that idea, like and how did it come to be? I think you mentioned a little bit how it overlapped with what some of the like sponsors are doing or something, or was it more just like tell us about the beginning of that?
I don't know. There was a moment where I was going to shoot a movie for Exile, and then John Weber left the team. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that now.
Okay,
because Weber's my boy.
Right, yeah,
my hometown hero.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I had all this footage because I'd been shooting and sitting on the beach for years and years at that point. And it kind of occurred to me one day, I was like, I'm sitting on hard drives worth of like incredible footage that nobody's ever seen. And so I just started editing it one day and putting it together. It kind of started with Mystic Quiver, maybe, the video I made for John.
Right, yeah. Love that.
Of John.
Yeah.
And And I was like, that was pretty fun to make like a semi-long part. And I have all this great footage of all these other people, and they don't all ride for Exile, and I love all of them. And I don't want it to just be skimboarding. I want it to be whatever it needs to be. And I also wanted to, I really love shooting, natural phenomena, like lightning, bioluminescence, little creatures in the sand, all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to make something that encompassed all of the things that I loved, all the music I love, make it just for me, and not, once again, not have anybody tell me how to do it. And so I just started editing it, and it took a long time. Probably there were parts I edited when I was living in LA.
Wow.
And
years.
Then, years. And I just chip away at it. I didn't work on it much the whole time I worked at Catch Surf, because I would sit on a computer on a screen all day. I didn't want to go home and look at another one.
Right.
So I basically took a year and a half off. And then I came back, but it's cool, the evolution of that project, because I edited it in different stages of my life, and certain sections, like Jack's section, I probably edited 4 years ago. The intro I started editing 5 years ago. Blair's final section I edited a year and a half ago,
Right.
which is really cool. And I feel like maybe you can't tell because I edited the whole thing, but I think it makes it more dynamic because it was edited throughout this different timeline.
Versions of Skylar.
Kinda, and it kind of kept it fresh and interesting. And there were little parts where I'd be like, oh, I could probably swap this clip out. I got a really good one. I'll trade this. But for the most part, and the music too. I think the music is the most important thing when it comes to making a good part. You have to have a song that complements the rider and complements the video as a whole. And so that gave me a much bigger span of time to find the right soundtrack for it too, rather than I'm gonna make this in a year and I'm just gonna use whatever I have on my cut to this playlist. It gave me time to be oh, this is a good fit for this. And I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it did. It started sort of as this backlog of projects, and you were when Weber left Exile. That's when you kind of started thinking of questioning, what am I going to do with all of these hard drives?
I don't know. I mean, I think it wasn't necessarily that. It was, I guess the seed had been planted by Exile.
I see.
But then they never brought it up again, and I was well, I'm not going to bring it up again. And so I just went my own way. And Blair actually had a really great idea to not have any skimboard companies sponsor the video, which I thought was really smart, because I don't really want it to be attached to anybody. I don't ride for any of those companies. I ride for Paul. I don't need to stamp somebody else's logo on it for, I don't know. I decided to go with 3 big sponsors that could cover the whole thing and not worry about looking like a contest t-shirt with 100,000 logos on it.
Right.
You just get lost in a sea of logos. I think it's so much more impactful if you just get 3 good ones that can cover everything. And then they look better because they're the only 3 that are on it.
I see, yeah. And so, I think we've spoke about this a little bit, but tell us, how do you go about acquiring, these and selecting those big sponsors?
I think a big part of it is having the connections built already. And also, it doesn't hurt that I have Blair on my team.
Right. So it's super
he's a
key.
ticket. Yeah. But
golden ticket.
Yeah. But also just having relationships with companies and working with companies and having them trust you and you trust them, and being on the same wavelength and already knowing the people there. And so that it's not only is it a good fit, but you like them, and it's a mutual respect that you guys have for one another, rather than going out on a limb and asking a company you've never met, full of people you've never met. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it's not as I don't know the word for it.
It's not as
Organic,
I don't know,
appealing,
organic is a word. It helps when you already have your foot in the door.
Yeah, it definitely does. But also not only a foot in the door, just a a foot in the door with a company that you actually like.
Right.
And people that you actually like. And people that you want their logo on your movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that vibe is so important, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, tell us about the platform of festivals. So we've talked a little bit about social media and things like that, but why isn't it still important for you to not just release your Easy Slider online, but also have it at multiple festivals, right? Or was it just the one?
No, I actually, so...
Because you did a tour kind of, right?
I did a tour. So the Coast Film Festival, that was all Paolo.
Okay.
Paolo basically reached out to I don't remember if he reached out to me or he reached out to the coordinator, and he was like, I'm gonna set you up in an email with the guy that runs the festival. And I just sent a link to the guy. I was like, hey, I don't know, Paolo told me to send my movie. Didn't realize I was submitting it. And then he got back to me. He was like, oh, yeah, you're in the... I hit him up, and I was like, hey, no worries if you didn't check it out. I'm doing a premiere in Costa Mesa if you want to check it out. I'll save you some tickets if you want to go. He was like, oh, no, you're good. You're actually in the festival.
So cool.
Didn't even know I applied.
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. But, no,
Paolo's so cool.
So, dude, Paolo's
one
the
of
man.
the best.
The best. So I didn't even know I was doing that. That was a full-on, I fell into that. But the whole tour I planned around the contest season. So I did the first one in Delaware, which is great because that's my hometown, and it happened to be on my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah.
And that was the best possible thing that could have happened because I got to premiere my first big movie in my hometown with my family there.
Yeah, so cool.
Really, really cool. And that was during the Dewey contest. And then I did the next one for the Vic and the next one for Oktoberfest. And I think planning premieres, for skimboarding especially, you gotta be crafty like that. And plan it around times when you know a lot of skimboarders are going to be in one place at one time. Because if you do it in Delaware in the middle of October, you're not going to get the same crowd as during the biggest contest of the year.
During season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Yeah, that was so cool. And what was it that just being back on stage with all of the writers and everything like that? Just that you work with on the Easy Slider. Was it just a reunion of just? I don't know. What did you guys talk about?
On stage? Oh, at the Coast Film Festival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Yeah, I don't know. We had Pat Parnell was the moderator, and he just asked everybody a question. It was really cool. It was quick. It was only 10 minutes. But it was cool. It was nice having a lot of the riders up there hanging out and just all in one place at one time. It was pretty special.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was there for the interview portion. But I was just wondering if you guys had any, sort of aside conversations, but more so what that sentiment was like. And you said it just felt really cool.
Yeah.
So tell us I don't think you're necessarily you're interested in different things, not just necessarily skimboarding, but surfing, softboard surfing, wildlife, just from the different things that I've seen in your work. But what would you describe is the makes the skimboarding community special, and why you've stuck with it so long, and why it's been a big part of your life?
I think I just grew up with it. I've been skimboarding since I was a little kid. So I've been skimboarding for 20 years, which is crazy. Whoa.
Yeah.
No, it's just I've always loved it, and the fact that there's a community around it is just an added bonus. I've met a lot of my best friends in the sport, and I don't know. It's just it is a little family in a lot of ways, and it's cool that people can come to Laguna or go to Delaware and feel a sense of community without necessarily knowing anybody. You can show up here with the skimboard in your hand and feel pretty welcome for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I found as well, is just that the skimboarding community is just so open, and a lot of people, and yourself included, are so willing to just sit down and just do podcasts and just drive, hours and hours. I don't know how long it took. It usually took me only 55 minutes, an hour. But yeah, definitely just like how people are so open to it. Tell us a little bit about what you're currently working on. Are you currently working on any projects that you can tell us about? I don't know if they're being secret, but what's exciting you today?
What am I working on? I'm working on getting out of town and going on vacation.
Right.
I'm about to go on a trip. But skimboarding related, I am working on right now my project that I'm trying to make happen. Mm-hmm. We'll see if I can pull it off. Is a documentary focused on the upcoming generation of skimboarders, which would be like Colton, Dia, Kaleo, Paul, that whole little gang.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a group of super groms like that since the Sammy, Johnny, Perry, Blair.
Wow. Yeah.
Era.
It's the next generation.
So I think it's pretty unique because I don't think that happens every day, and so I'm trying to kind of capture that over the next couple of years as they grow. So this is kind of like a long-term project, but that's my big thing. And I like Easy Slider was great, and I was like really stoked to make that classic like rip clip video.
Rip clip, yeah.
Makes sense, like a bearded.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to make something with more of a narrative. I think that would be interesting, and it's another thing that I haven't done. So I'm like, I want to challenge myself a little bit.
More narratives.
More narrative, or just like something with like a storyline.
Okay.
And then Brandon Sears and I are kind of talking about starting maybe an annual skimboarding magazine.
Ooh.
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a big,
I love that idea.
Big
it's
project.
Yeah.
Very, very
ambitious.
Very, very ambitious. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
If we can pull it off.
Yeah. That's so interesting. And yeah, I just remember going up to you after the Vic. I think I was trying to talk with Blair. He was just like so swamped, and I'm sure he was like tired too. But I was just like, it's like a freaking tennis match or something like that. Like the Super Groms, like we're just going back to back to back, and they were not falling. So it was so rad to see, and I'm so excited to just like witness like what is gonna happen. And I think that no one's really like talking about it per se, but I think people can start to feel it, like something is happening in the sport. And I think that like these super groms, like they're definitely a big part of it. So it's so cool to see, and I'm so happy to see like that narrative developing as well. So you would say like up to this point, just through your own development, it's not necessarily been as narrative, because the Alaska trip, I think too, that was kind of a narrative, like when there's like a goal in mind, there's
that, I mean, like I consider that less my thing and more Blair's thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Because, like, at the end of the day, he has the say on what it should be. And, like, obviously it's a definitely teamwork. And we kind of came to the conclusion on that one that we should try and make something, like, a little more dynamic and less, like, still vloggy, but maybe a little more, like, professional, I guess. Or trying to be professional. And so that was really fun. It was really, really cool. Probably my favorite part about that whole project was working with Zach Hogue and Kyle Fournier of Fayroy Boys.
The artists?
Yeah, Fayroy. They're super talented. I originally hit them up to score the Grom documentary. And we met and we talked about it, and they're super keen on it, which like I was stoked about because I love their music and I think they're great. And I kind of pitched them on the Alaska thing. And I was like, whenever you make a vlog, you're kind of at the mercy of the royalty-free music gods.
Right, right.
Which can
I know that game.
Challenging. It's kind of an uphill battle from the start. And so I was trying to figure out ways that I could get things on Blair's channel, get these videos on Blair's channel, but have them be still legit and sound nice and look cinematic-ish. And so I kind of asked them, I was like, hey, would you want to, like, trial run this thing with the Alaska series? And they were down for it, and they crushed it.
Yeah.
Music
so
was
cool.
so sick.
Yeah.
So that was another cool thing. And it's just like it all comes back to trying something new and trying to like push the envelope a little bit.
Being that Swiss Army knife.
I mean,
yeah.
I just set them into motion, but let them do what they wanted to do. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think we probably better wrap it up before they kick us out of here. But I definitely want to give you an opportunity to give give shout outs or anything you want to work on. But first, I just want to, thank you for your time. Thank you what you've been doing and will do for the skimboarding community and just bringing this stoke, just generally speaking. And I think that message that you have of, your happiness, and definitely, hearkening back to your friend as an example, is it's not like the number of likes or these certain milestones that we think are so important, but it's all about like the journey, the process, and just staying true to what you want to create and not, burning yourself out with the things that, matter. And, but it's not necessarily something that you are, have creative control over. So,
totally.
yeah, so thanks so much for that. And yeah, so where can people find you? Where do you want to direct people if they want to work with you, or, anything you want to highlight?
I don't know. Find me on the beach, I guess.
On the beach, yeah.
No, you can check out my website, skylarwilson.net.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of my work on it. That's the thing I probably update the most.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just if you see me, come say hi. I'm always down to talk, have a conversation with somebody.
Okay, all right, cool. And actually, one more thing before I forget is because I know you recently just released like this like skim clip like stack that of yours, and you were like shredding, like you were and I'm wondering like what are you, I know you're not like doing it for competition anymore, but are you working on any like tricks or any like maneuvers or things like that in skimboarding?
Blair's trying to get me on the cider.
Cider,
like a madman.
Yeah, cider.
He's like, he's gunning hard for it. I just don't like,
it's tricky.
I just like, I don't know. I don't care that much.
Really?
I mean, like, I just like to go slide around. But yeah, no, like, if he tells me to go on a cider, I'll go on a cider. It's a lot of fun. And if you're gonna, like, actually work on learning something, he's a really good person to learn from because he just knows exactly. He sees, like, the tiniest little things. He's like, just do this. And it makes a huge difference. Something that never would even occur to you.
Right, wow. Yeah.
So I guess I'm working on riding a cider.
Okay.
I guess Blair's working on getting me to ride a cider.
Okay,
yeah.
Keep working, Blair. Yeah. We're counting on you. So yeah, thanks so much, and everyone, that's been it for the podcast. Thanks, Skylar Wilson, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.